Hey friends, I have been saying that I might do this for a while now, and we had our first official day of school today, so I figured my schoolroom is never going to be this clean again. I've done a lot of work the last couple of weeks clearing things out and reorganizing our books and where everything is. So this is it. This is our Charlotte Mason schoolroom. It is really quite small, so it might be a little bit hard for me to show you everything. I'll try to keep things in the picture as I'm talking. I love this room because it has the big window. It's usually so bright through that window that I can't take videos in here. So right now it is overcast because it is smoky. And it also just started raining, so it's actually not too bright to do a video in here today. So this is our table. Nothing fancy. I actually got this off Craigslist and I refinished it. This is my captain's chair. That's where I get to sit. And then we have a wall of low bookcases on the other side. Yes, I have a chandelier. This actually used to be our dining room before we remodeled the house. We had this little tiny dining room. We have a cabinet here, and then I'll kind of show you what is in here, kind of what the organizational idea is. This is our wall of books. My oldest son also practices his music in here, so we have his violins here. My younger son has a ukulele, we have a music stand, and then we have a desk. So we have enough seating for quite a few people to be in here. We have our map of Washington. So that is it. This is not a very big room, and I would say we use this room primarily, first of all, to store everything in here, because we don't actually do all of our schoolwork in this room. But it is really convenient unless you can, we do have tons of other bookcases, but unless you can have tons and tons of bookcases, it's nice to actually just have a room where everything is. So in here we have lots of nature study items, just things that we have collected. Some poetry. These are all different rock collections that have been sorted and bagged. More rocks, more shells. My kids like sea glass, some kind of bone, I don't know. Field guides. Sorry, my shadow's getting in everything. Rubber plant, I'm seeing if that will be happy living in here. Then we have some more, sorry for getting dizzy, more nature collection stuff over here. I really love this little wall shelf that I found. So most of these are things that we found. Some of them are things that we've bought. But I love just having natural objects around. I find it really calming. This is not like a public school, elementary school classroom with lots of, bright colors and things hanging from the wall and words all over the place and sticker charts. This is pretty neutral. It's very neutral on purpose. Nobody working in here ever finds this distracting, but I will find sometimes, especially my youngest will sometimes come in here by herself and just pick up the stones and study them and pick up the shells, or she'll take them to play a little game with like her little play animals, or she'll grab that magnifying glass and start looking at the pine cones or the butterflies. So I like to not have them all up in display cases, but they are here for the kids to look at and pick up and touch. And then as far as organizations, these bins have seen better days. I need wood ones because we pull these open and close all the time. Those are arts and craft supplies, pens, pencils. And one is full of like card games and flashcards. And then these, the dog found me. These are the bookcases that we use most of the time on a daily basis. So the first one to the left is my 6th grade son's notebooks, mostly. Anything that he's going to write in, like his copywork, his dictation book, his Latin notebook, his math notebook, flashcards, those are all in the top left. And then the next one where it says our Empire Story, our Island Story, those are books that he is currently reading. So he always knows, we always know, right there, that's where we're grabbing books that we're currently reading. And then over here, these are books for my 3rd grade son, so currently reading or, about to be read soon, and then some handwriting, some math papers, things like that. And then underneath we have some extra books. We have coloring books for my youngest to do, a whole bunch of early readers because we go through those really fast. So I just have those out here. And then the last little space is some art supplies, so things that we use somewhat regularly. And then I also have a lot of art supplies in our basement, more like crafty things. So this cabinet is new. My wonderful friend gave me this. This was so needed. So now instead of piles on the floor, I actually have a place for our games. We play a lot of games. I also have DVDs and CDs in here up at the top, things that we listen to, and some office supplies. I have a laminator, hole punch, etc. So those all finally have a nice home in here. And then there's a drawer, and for some reason I have an entire very large drawer of math manipulatives. And some of those are letter manipulatives for learning how to read and spell. So plenty of those going on. And then the very bottom cabinet is more games. Games, puzzles, math blocks, robot turtles, we like that game. So we just have tons of those, and they used to all be upstairs in kind of an attic closet, so it's great that now they're actually in the schoolroom where, we use them. So then back over here to books. These are kind of behind the table, so it's a little hard to show you. This cabinet, or this bookshelf, is all books that we are currently using. The one right next to it here is books that we will be using this year. So those are all really easy to grab when we're ready for them and just pull them over to the currently using shelf. So most of those are kind of in chronological order. A lot of them are history books. A lot of them are historical fiction or biographies. So we already have those all set out for the year. And then my big wall of books, this is just everything else. This isn't all of our books, but this is the books we know we'll be using the next few years in homeschooling. And they're more or less, I guess I could do a whole video on how they're really organized, but we have them in broad sections. We have literature, poetry, Christian books and devotions, and then by time period. So because our curriculum really revolves a lot around history, when we get to a new year, I'll pretty much take one of those whole shelf sections for our next history time period, and it will get plopped over here. So every year I go through a big reorganization. All of these books, which are 1900 to present history time period, they will all go back over here when one of these other time periods gets removed and gets ready for the new school year. So the things that are not in here, we actually do a lot of our schoolwork in the dining room because we do it over food. We do it right after breakfast, or we do it with our snack time. So the subjects that we do over breakfast and snack time go on a cart in the dining room, but I pulled it out here just so I could show you. So the top shelf is mostly our morning time. So we have some poetry, geography, a few read-alouds, some Bible curriculum. The next shelf has some of our morning time, but then also in the afternoon we do sort of a tea time, snack time, and that's when we'll do things like a literature read-aloud. We have Farmer Boy right now, and we'll also talk about our poet, our composer, and our artist. So we have those things, and then the bottom shelf is very important. These are manipulatives and just fidget toys. We have putty, we have kinetic sand. That stuff's really fun. So that is to keep little hands busy. And big hands. My oldest son really likes to just play with thinking putty also while we're reading. So that is pretty much all of our school stuff. We do a little bit of school in here. Usually one child will come work in here quietly while maybe the other child works with me in a different room. So we do use the whole house. We sit in the living room to read. We might sit in here to do math and Spanish. We're often in the dining room for morning time and for our arts. So yeah, I hope that maybe gives you some good ideas or just some things to think about. Bye.